Having a fully stocked workshop, like we have here at Cycling Weekly, is a dream for most of us. But sometimes all those specialist tools, lubes and cleaners can end up breaking the bank if you're not careful. So we thought, are there any ways of getting the same results but just by using easy to access household goods? We've come up with 10 of the most ingenious ways of saving yourself money when it comes to maintenance time. There are several specialist tools you need when it comes to maintenance time on your bike. One of these is the humble chain whip. This is needed when you're going to be doing work on your cassette or if you need to replace your cassette. You can't take off a cassette without using one of these. Now, a proper one can set you back quite a lot of money, but there's a really simple way of getting around using one of these chain whips. And that's, rather than using one of these, it's to use something like this. This is an oil filter remover. So it's a very simple tool that you can find in any car spare shop. And it will only cost you a couple of pounds, but you can see it's effectively the same as a standard chain whip. It's a piece of metal with a handle and it has a series of chain links attached to it that you can then use in exactly the same way as a standard chain whip. So this particular example is actually my own personal oil filter remover, or my chain whip. And I've actually been using it for quite a few years and it's really effective. If you want to change the chain for something a bit narrow, so if you use an 11 to 12 speed, then certainly you can do that as well, but I've not really had too many problems with this. And as I said, it's only a few pounds, so a real simple alternative to a proper chain whip. Everyone recognises these little things. This is obviously a standard spoke with a little J-bend on the end. That little hook on the end and the narrow gauge of this is ideal for getting it into the holes in your frame and for hooking out those cables. It can save you so much hassle trying to actually fiddle around with that and save loads and loads of time. Another really simple way of using a standard spoke is when it comes to replacing your chain. Now, there's often times when you're trying to put that new chain together or using the quick link to put it together. But if you haven't released the tension on the chain, it can be a nightmare with bits flinging everywhere. But all you need to do with one of these is to bend it around into a little U shape, and then that can be used to hook two parts of the chain in. And what you can do with that then is you can release the tension, so allowing a bit of the chain to actually dangle down, and then you can fit that quick link without any hassle whatsoever. Now, we always talk about how a clean bike is a happy bike. And one of the simplest ways of keeping it clean is to use polish on the frame. Using polish on the frame makes it super slick and stops mud and grease and other things from actually sticking to it. So a bit of preventative medicine will stop things from getting dirty too quickly. You can obviously buy specialist polishes, so bike polishes which have Teflon and other things in it, but again, those can cost you quite a bit of money. So a simple alternative, and something that will cost you very little, is to use standard furniture polish. Now, it doesn't quite have the same magic ingredients, but it does the same job. It might be that you have to apply it more than once or a little bit more regularly. But this sprayed on your frame will keep the mud off and keep the dirt off and keep your bike running smoothly and looking better for longer. Okay, probably the most ingenious but ambitious type of DIY toolmaking is to make your own bearing press. If you've got press fit bottom brackets or headsets that need to be squeezed in, normally you need a proper tool, something like this Park tool here. Using one of these is gonna make that job so much easier. In fact, it's very difficult to do those jobs, pressing those bearings in without something like this. But rather than spending £40 or so on a bearing press like this that you might only use once in a while, you can make your own. Now, it doesn't quite look the same, it's not quite as beefy, but this will do the same job. It just might take a little bit longer. All this is a piece of threaded bar. We've got some washers and some spacers to hold the bearings in place, and then a nut and a wing nut here to squeeze things together. Now, obviously the wing nut won't be able to apply the sort of pressure to squeeze those bearings in, so you can use this as the static end, but you can adjust it and hold everything in place. And then you can use a standard spanner or adjustable spanner on the nut at the other end to slowly squeeze things in. Now, all of the parts on here only cost me £10 to make. And when I said £10, that obviously sounds like a lot for one, but it gave me enough to make 5 of these. So not only have I got one of these that I can use at a push, but 4 of my friends have also got these as well. So they make great Christmas presents or birthday presents for the riders in your lives. Probably the most important part of your bike to keep clean is the chain. And there's a couple of things you can do to do this in a very simple and really cost-effective way. First off, to help keep your chain clean, you can use the Humble Dish Sponge. What you've got here is a slightly abrasive layer that can be used to get rid of all that gunk when you're using it in conjunction with a cleaner or a degreaser. A degreaser is a really important part of a cleaning regime. And obviously standard degreasers can cost quite a lot of money. But did you know you can make your own really effective degreaser out of a few simple household ingredients? The simplest combination is the juice of 1 lemon, a couple of teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda. Mix those together, it fizzes up, and then you can basically dilute it with as much water as you want. Put it into a squeezy bottle like so, and you've got a really good effective degreaser that you can use on the chain and other parts of your bike. When you finish cleaning your bike, obviously one of the things that can happen is you can end up with really dirty, mucky hands. So you can obviously buy yourself some proper hand cleaner. That's the gritty, soapy stuff that you can get in big tubs. Again, this can cost quite a bit of money, so there's nothing better than making your own. And to do this, you need 2 very simple ingredients that pretty much everybody has to hand at home. You need some soap and an abrasive. So this abrasive can be any sort of form of gritty material. You could use sand if you wanted to, but I like to use a bit of sugar to keep myself as sweet as possible. Simply squirt some soap in your hands, add a little bit of sugar, and you can rub those together to your heart's content, and it cleans all that grit off. If you're going away with your bike, or you're going out on a ride, or you just get into a race and your bike's a little bit mucky, there's a very simple way of giving it a very quick and very effective clean. Simply carrying some baby wipes is a great way of doing a good clean job on your bike. These can be ripped out, wipe off all that muck, and you've got a great simple way of cleaning your bike. And the best thing is, a packet like this with 64 baby wipes in it costs around about 50 pence. So it's a lot cheaper than using proper cleaners. Go into any bike shop, and when it comes to cleaning products, one of the things you will see is a variety of different specific brushes designed to use on different parts of the bike. However, they can cost quite a lot of money. But the best thing is, you can just use standard everyday household cleaning brushes to do the same jobs. And the great thing is they've got bristles of different strengths. So we've got some nice soft bristles here, which will be great for delicate carbon fiber frames. And then you've got some harder bristles for your tires and your wheels, and some even stiffer bristles here that can be used on the drivetrain. So you've got effectively a full combination of brushes that can be used to clean your bike, and it will cost a fraction of even just one standard bike specific brush. So there you have it, 10 simple but ingenious ways of saving yourself some money when it comes to maintenance time. If you've got any tips that you like to use when it comes to doing work on your bike, please put it in the comments section below, and we might use that again in another video. But don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with our latest releases, and we'll see you soon.